Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans in 1977. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the SmackDown Event Center Wrestling Report. And now, here's your host of the Event Center Wrestling Reports of SmackDown, now a 3-hour show on the USA Network, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 1997. 1997 was the year that debuted the most notorious group in professional wrestling. As you know, 1996, when I talked about it, I forgot to talk about it on 1986. That's when in WCW the NWO was formed by Hulk Hogan, who recently turned heel after, 84, 83, 84, after over a decade of being a good guy. And him, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall formed the NWO in WCW. But not to be outdone, the other half of the clique, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, formed the most notorious team in 1997. A team that basically caused a lot of chaos. We're talking about D-Generation X. And speaking of Triple H, it is announced that Triple H will be headlining the class of 2025 WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations to the game, Triple H. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about what's going on SmackDown. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee kicks off SmackDown as they're hosting it. As you know, the Royal Rumble is in Indianapolis and Lucas Oil Stadium, but they're at the Field House across the way. And Joe Tessitore interviewed Kevin Owens in the middle of the ring. Kevin Owens disrespects Joe Tessitore, and he decided to take back his Winged Eagle Championship. I don't know how Nick Aldis would feel about that, but he will not be very happy. But as he's about to leave with the Winged Eagle title, CM Punk interrupts KO. And then CM Punk talks his smack, and then Kevin Owens looks at him and goes, I hope you don't win the Royal Rumble. You know. And so we're talking KO not caring about anybody but himself, but he's a jerk. And you know what? Let's see what happens. The Miz was talking to Nick Aldis, complaining about, being on SmackDown and all. And then the Miz starts running his mouth about Andrade. Andrade was right behind him. He said, you know what? Let's go have a match. And then Nick Aldis says, well, okay, let's get the match together. Jimmy Uso cut a promo on Carmelo Hayes. And Jimmy Uso and Carmelo Hayes went one-on-one in attendance in Indianapolis. One of the best players from the Pacers, Mr. Tyrese Halliburton, was there. And then during the matchup, Carmelo Hayes talked some smack into Tyrese Halliburton. This is one time I would say, I think it's a smack talk. Carmelo Hayes should be focusing on the ring. Jimmy Uso, Hayes' smack talk to Halliburton cost Hayes the matchup, as Jimmy Uso did pick up the victory. Byron Saxton interviewed Chelsea Green and Piper Niven as they get ready for their United States title. She gets ready for a United States title defense against Meechin. And they have the United States title match, and Meechin was accompanied by B-Fab to help even the score. Piper Niven was getting involved in the match, pulling Green out of the ring, and B-Fab kicks Niven in the face. And then Chelsea Green resorted to grabbing the candlestick that Meechin brought to the ring and deliberately hit her with it to get herself disqualified and keep her title. I don't think that's going to sit well with Meechin, and I don't think it's sitting well with Nick Aldis. We'll see what happens there. And Byron Saxton interviewed Bianca Belair and Naomi about the women's Royal Rumble. Not only that, their potential challengers in Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. as Naomi goes one-on-one with Liv Morgan. In attendance, Stephanie McMahon, who is back in a way, hosting a new show called Stephanie's Places. So what is Stephanie going to talk about there? It'll be premiering soon on ESPN. So there's that. Damian Priest addresses the Indianapolis crowd about being on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga interrupt Damian Priest. And when Damian Priest superkicks Tonga, Fatu and Priest brawl. When Tama Tonga came to, LA Knight got involved. LA Knight then challenged the duo to a tag team matchup. Then Morrissey and Machine Guns Legado Del Fantasma talk some strategy. It seems like Santos Escobar tells Los Gaza, hey, look out for yourselves. So, and then Morrissey and Machine Guns say, don't worry about what he says. We got your backs. And he says, yeah, but if you win, and he goes, okay, but if you win the belts, we're coming after you. And they had the 8-man tag, Morrissey and Machine Guns and Los Garza against DIY, the tag team champs, and Pretty Deadly. And due to a miscommunication between the Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garza walks out on the matchup. But despite that, they won the matchup. Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garza. And then Fatu and Tonga were walking around backstage, and then Tonga looks at the belts. DIY confronts Tama Tonga, who does this yeah thing, right? And DIY confronts Pretty Deadly, as, what was that? And they're screaming at each other, miscommunication. And they say, listen, we lose those belts, we can kiss the shots goodbye. They say, you know what, fine, you're on your own. And then Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were talking to Halliburton. And as, Halliburton, they got a game tomorrow night against the Hawks. And then the Atlanta Hawks. And hopefully he'll come back for the Royal Rumble. Naomi went one-on-one with Liv Morgan, and despite Raquel Rodriguez getting involved during the matchup, and Bianca Belair evened things up, and Naomi took advantage of the situation and picked up the victory. And then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez proceeded to beat them up and stand tall after the match. And Andrade went one-on-one with The Miz, and Andrade defeated The Miz. And then as LA Knight walked, Santos Escobar said, hey, SmackDown could be a very rough place. I can help you. And he goes, no need. And I think, and then Damian Priest says, Rey Mysterio was right about you. You got an ego problem. And then, and he looks over, what are you doing here? You gotta pick a show, man. It's R-Truth. R-Truth was hilarious. He posted a picture of him and Ciampa saying, congratulations, Triple H, for making it to the Hall of Fame. I was laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I love R-Truth. You make up your mind. Say, I'm on SmackDown now. So I think R-Truth is maybe on SmackDown. But then LA Knight comes in. I want to make sure the way we got a lot of fireworks, make sure we're good. He said, yeah, we're good. And then R-Truth goes, yeah, we'll be friends. And I was like, oh boy. And then LA Knight's about to say something. Damian Priest, don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. Let's focus on winning. Meanwhile, Zelina Vega, who just transferred over to SmackDown, was talking to Tiffany Stratton and says, I got my eye on that. Tiffany Stratton goes, you better win that Royal Rumble. So, speaking of which, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee interviewed the champ. And as she was talking, Candice LeRae interrupts Stratton, says, you're going to pay for what you betrayed. Now you betrayed Nia, you betrayed me. And then as Tiffany Stratton was getting into Candice LeRae's face, Nia Jax tried to attack her the first time around, and then ends up hitting, she moved out of the way, ends up hitting Candice LeRae, and then as the two women brawl, Nia Jax hit her with the Samoan drop, and then nailed Tiffany Stratton with the Annihilator. Meanwhile, tag team matchup, Damian Priest and LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga in the main event, and it got crazy, and Damian Priest and LA Knight did pick up the victory, and then Fatu attacked Priest after the matchup. And that is it. All right, I want to make my picks and predictions for the Royal Rumble. That's right, I want to make my picks and predictions right here and now. I got it on a piece of paper. I did this last night on Rant and Rave, but I want to you know, but so here's the deal. The tag team titles, 2 out of 3 falls, DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. And I predicted DIY would win because I thought, Pretty Deadly would be involved, but after what happened tonight, might not be the case. Now, ladder match for the undisputed WWE title, Cody Rhodes defends against KO, and I picked Cody Rhodes to win that matchup. Now, the Women's Royal Rumble, so what we did was, we have our pure pick, alternative pick, and a wild card to win it. My pure pick will be Io Sky to win it all. But if she doesn't win it, Nia Jax might win it. And if neither of them wins it, my wild card will be the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria. And then the Men's Rumble. My pure pick is CM Punk. My alternative pick, John Cena. My wild card, Jacob Fatu. So, we'll see these picks and predictions. And according to Jordy Scow, for the fantasy pick Royal Rumble drawing, my number will be 23 and 18. 23 for the men's, 18 for the women's. Late numbers, not bad. A lot better than last year. I like those numbers. I like my odds. We'll see what happens there. So, that is all the time we have on this show. And episode 1997 is complete. And we got 3 more episodes to go. And I'm hoping by the end of this week, we get it done. So, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed night. Until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with Regan Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.